Hi guys, I'm Woodcraft Hamster and I thought we would finish off our little coffee scoop today. Now obviously we roughed this out in the last episode and today I'm going to be using a combination of my little Svante Jarv, I'm sure that's how it's pronounced, carving knife. I really like this one because it's got a slightly rounded spine which makes it really good for sort of pushing with your thumb. And also my Ben Orford Mokatogan. Now I haven't done a lot of carving with this yet. I'm still kind of getting used to it, and to be honest, on a really small bit of wood like this, it's probably not the best tool, but I wanted to kind of see what it could do, and I'm mindful, you know, I showed you this a little while ago and you've not seen much of it since. So what I think I'll do, I'll bring the camera a little bit closer in and we'll make a start. Right then guys, so I'm going to start off with the Mokatogan. Now as I say, I'm still getting used to this, and to be honest, I really can't find out, you know, the best way of holding it and so on and so forth. So I'm kind of still improvising. What I'm doing is I'm just holding this down on my bench with one hand, and you know, you'll probably notice I'm sort of cutting towards myself here, which I'm very mindful of, and it's not something that, you know, I would normally do, because you do get a bit of a jerk as you come off, but I am actually slightly offset. So if I come all the way this way, the blade will pass go straight past me. If I sort of turn at an angle and come this way, there's a chance I'll hit myself. So I'm making sure that this is pointing so that the blade will run off away from me. And really all I'm going to do to start with is just smooth down the back and the sides of this scoop. I'm hoping that you can see this all right on the camera. Been playing around with some camera angles, and you know, there's obviously still a lot for me to learn with this blade, but it does remove a lot of waste wood very, very quickly. Obviously I haven't quite got that technique down yet where I'm taking off long continuous shavings, but you know, it really does work well. You can kind of twist it as you're cutting if you're trying to get a bit of a curve in, like I am here, because what I don't want to do, obviously it's very thick around here and thinner down the bottom, and I don't want to lose too much thickness off the bottom here, so I'm kind of, let me see if you can see what I'm doing, you know, just almost hollowing this out a little bit. I'm going to make it a bit more exaggerated just so you can kind of see what it is I'm doing. And that is, if I just show you that very quickly, that is the wonder of this tool. You know, you've got a nice sort of sweeping curve starting to develop down here, whereas this was flat a few moments ago. And for me, that's one of the big selling points of this Mokatogan at the moment. You know, this is a very dry piece of wood, and therefore it does bind up a little bit, but not excessively so. I mean, that's one of the joys of working with birch. And although it's chewing up a little bit on the end, I can play around and sort of tailor this off a bit more with the knife later. But again, you know, really just a few cuts there, and I've really sort of worked this down. Now I want to do some work on the other side, because as I say, I don't want this to lose too much of its strength. And you know, this is entirely possible to do with a knife, but the control that you get on this Mokatogan is actually really nice in comparison to a normal knife. So hopefully you can see where this is starting to go. And what I want to do now, I don't want to do too much work with the Mokatogan on here, because I haven't really got to grips with it. You know, I don't want to accidentally take off too much. So what I'm going to do is now start working down the back here, just to try and smooth this out a little bit. Okay, so we've now refined this down a little bit further with the Mokatogan. And you know, I do have a bit of a habit of being on slightly the cautious side, and I do leave a bit more waste wood, whether it's roughing out with an axe or something like the Mokatogan, just to give myself that little bit of sort of you know, option for error, if you like. So it does leave me a little bit more work to do with the knife, but you know, I'd rather that than make a mistake with a slightly heavier tool and then ruin the whole thing. And really, you know, this little Svante Jarv knife, You know, as I say, it's got a slightly rounded spine, which is really useful because it means when I come to push with the back of my thumb like so, you don't get that kind of sharp sort of indent, which can cause sort of discomfort after carving for a little while. So I'm just going to spend 5-10 minutes doing a bit of fine detail carving on this. I think I'll speed through the footage, you know, it's not the most interesting thing in the world, and just try and refine this down a bit further. Right then guys, so here is the almost finished coffee scoop. As you can see, you know, I've kind of tidied it up a little bit. You know, we've removed most of the waste wood, just really a little bit of sanding left to do. And what I'm going to do, without boring you, by the magic of editing, I'm going to nip away for probably about 2 seconds in your time and about 20 minutes in mine, quickly sand this down and come back when it's nice and smoothed. And as if by magic, here we have the sanded scoop. Now I think hopefully you'll agree it's looking okay. You know, it's not anything special. There's a few little defects, a couple of really minor tool marks in there that were a little bit too deep for me to get out. And really all that's left to do now is give this a finish in some oil. I'll probably put a little bit of beeswax and oil mix on top once that's done, and then we'll be finished. So I'm going to disappear off again, and I will come back when this is 100% done. Right then guys, so here is the finished article. It's had 2 coats of almond oil and then a further coating of oil and beeswax just to give it that little bit of a sheen. And you know, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be winning any beauty awards, but it's going to be functional. And actually, do you know what? This is actually my favourite type of carving. I do enjoy the big projects, you know, the big bowls and the platters and these kind of things. But you know, this is kind of where I started with carving, you know, making spoons, paper, letter openers, you know, paper knives, those kind of things. And you know, I appreciate for those people starting out, it can be a bit daunting. I mean, I remember quite clearly my first spoon, although it looked absolutely hideous, and I was really proud of it by the end of it. It took me about 2.5 or 3 weeks to make. You know, this took me maybe 2 hours this afternoon in the workshop. It's a bit of a dull day out, and I thought, you know what, I just want to do something nice and simple and relaxing. And for me, that's what carving is. You know, it's something I really enjoy doing. The bigger projects, you know, you have to take a bit more thought, take a bit more time. You know, something like this, and as I say, you know, it's not the nicest of things, it's not entirely symmetrical. You know, I could have done a slightly better job on that. But you know, all in all, it's a functional item that I'm now going to be using probably on a daily basis. And you know, there's nothing better in my mind than, you know, having that kind of satisfaction of something that you've made yourself, that you're actually going to make use of. You know, for me personally, I actually prefer giving these kind of things away. You know, friends and relatives, whether they use them or not, I don't know. They always seem to be out on the kitchen side when I come round, so maybe they're just playing to my vanity a little bit. But you know, I really like making functional things that I can either give to someone or keep myself that's actually going to be used. But anyway guys, I've rambled on long enough. Hopefully, you know, you've seen just how quick and easy it is to make something like this. You know, really enjoyable little project. I highly recommend trying it out. So that's it for this time guys. So comments and questions in the box below. Hit like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I hope you'll all join me next time. Thanks guys.